self assessment is the best assessment. Keep yourself upgrading, upskilling. Without that, we are just moving backward.
Welcome to another inspiring episode on Great Principles, where we delve into the stories of exceptional educational leaders who are transforming schools and shaping the futures of our kids. I'm your host Seema Choria, and today we have a remarkable guest joining us, Ms. Priya Gambhir. Ms. Priya Gambhir is not only a dedicated school coordinator at Deep Memory Public School, Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, but also resource head CBSE. With her passion for education and a creative approach to curriculum development, she has been instrumental in revolutionizing the way art is integrated into the learning process. Today, we'll be exploring the topic of art integration and how it can be truly a creative curriculum. And before that, Ms. Gambhir will also shed light on challenges and triumphs she has encountered along her journey and provide practical advice for educators who are eager to embrace arts integration in their schools. So, without further ado, let's welcome the visionary leader, Ms. Priya Gambhir, to the Great Principles Show. Welcome, ma'am. We are truly very excited to have you with us.
Very good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me here with you all.
So, ma'am, the topic that you have chosen, that is art integration and designing a creative curriculum, I think, it very much resonates with the modern day curriculum also, because today art integration is not merely adding some art activities, it's also about fostering creativity, fostering learning abilities, and, helping a child to do self expression. So there is so much, it is much more than what people think about it and how it can enhance learning experiences. So we'll be, very much eager to understand all these from you. But before that, ma'am, I would like my audience to know a little about you. What has been your background? What inspired you to join education domain and what keeps you going in here?
So I have been working as the school educator from past 15 years. My mother has been the guiding source behind me being a teacher, and the hard work which I invest in my progress is all because of my passion, wherein I actually strive to make my learner not only with a rote learning method, but I really want them to add the splendid of life, because whatever we are learning, we have to reflect on the experience. Without reflection, your learning is certainly not going to help you out in the lifelong. And this has been my mantra from past 15 years. And when we talk about the journey, how I have being doing all these innovative ideas in my tenure of teaching career, I would certainly like to give one advice to all the educators, that you need to keep yourself updated with the latest development happening in the education sector. You cannot keep the technology at your at the bay. You have to have the knowledge about what reforms the Ministry of Education, CBSE, NCRT is bringing henceforth. And not only here in India, but globally also, you should be knowing that at global level, what kind of education is there, what kind of reforms are there. And it has been my passion to know that what exactly the other countries are doing, why are they successful, why India need to do a little improvements. And that has been a career mantra, and that has been a success mantra, and that has been my passion behind me, talking about art integration, using art integration, or any other pedagogical reforms or pedagogical methodologies in my career.
Wonderful, ma'am, and very well said. One need to be very passionate about being an educator, because you are dealing with lives of so many children, and you rightly said that you have to be very much updated, because this generation, we are preparing them for the future which we are not seeing. So you have to know the trends, how things are happening, and yes,
Certainly.
technology is.
Seema, we have to understand even teachers are also, ongoing learners.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're not going to learn, if you're not going to adapt, if you would not going to mend yourself, you would certainly not going to do justice with your professions. And it is easier said than done, but teaching is equally challenging profession now, isn't it? So
True.
if you would not going to keep yourself updated, if you're not going to upskill yourself, the efficacy of the teaching would going to deter. And somewhere the learners who are coming to your classroom, they can easily read a book, isn't it? What new are you giving? What kind of thinking process, or I would say the thought paradigm, you would going to create for the learners, wherein the learning would going to be lifelong, where the reflection would going to help them out. This is the responsibility of the teacher, certainly. And for that, the passion to upgrade, to upskill, to add the new pedagogies, to learn new things, that is something which has to be there, and it shouldn't stop. It should be ongoing. This is insistent cycle which should go forward and forward. And if you are passionate about learning your new things, if you would going to upgrade yourself, you will feel happiness, isn't it? You would not going to feel the burden. You will not going to feel that why so many multiple things at one time are we doing, because you would see that broadly everything is interconnected. Okay, so it's just that you have to be spirited, I would say.
Absolutely, ma'am. So, it's not only about, as ma'am said, you should be prepared to learn, unlearn, relearn always. So, always keep doing that, keep upgrading yourself. And with AI tools coming in, with technology disruption, ma'am rightly said, what difference you are giving to the classroom, that what is educator getting, what is the learner getting from you is something which really, really matters. So, get creative, and yes, wherever technology takes us, human touch will always be needed. So teachers will always be there. Your presence is always very, very important. You're the most important person in the child's life, because you are equally, responsible for making him or her what they are going to be, and of course building the nation. So Priya ma'am, understanding from you such amazing things about what educators thought process should be, how they should be keep upgrading themselves. Now let us understand about the art integration and designing a creative curriculum, how we can keep our kids engaged in learning forms and help them to, to a different discovery of their own expressions.
Right. So, before I would start that what exactly it's the art integration, I would like to highlight that this is not something new. It's just that these is, there is a buzz of art integration because of the advent of NEP 2020. So this idea was pioneered by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Even the National Curriculum Framework 2005 also mentioned about it, isn't it? So earlier the subject was in core and art was at the peripheral. Now it has been vice versa. Okay, it has been altogether changed, I would say. Now the art is in the core and the subjects are just surrounding. Challenge is that we have to understand that art integration doesn't mean art education. It's not only coloring, drawing, and creating something with the colorful papers. It's beyond that. So when we talk about the art integration, we are actually promoting the creativity of the child. We are talking about all 21st century skills. We are talking about the collaborative efforts, and there are subsets of art. We have to take care of the visual art, we have to take care of the performing art. We cannot keep culinary art at bay again. That is also one of the very important factor of art integration which we have to take care. And by using these arts in a very planned manner, you can make your curriculum more creative, and a lot of hand holding is required, a lot of planning is required. But if the school and the teachers and the coordinators are spending some time designing their annual plan with the far-fetched, far-sighted planning, then certainly delivering the content with the help of art integration is, it would going to add a new colors in the classroom setting. It would going to break the mundane of the boring classroom. It would certainly going to make your classroom more joyous, and it would certainly going to help you to achieve the learning outcomes. Okay, now coming to art integration, it is a cross curricular pedagogical approach wherein you are using art to deliver the content. And here also one has to understand the fact that art integration is way too different from art education. There are three different parts. So art integration is the umbrella, and under that you have art integrated learning and art enhanced activities. So, challenge is to make the teachers or the facilitators or the coaches aware about the difference between these two. Then the challenge comes how to use the talent of art teachers and how to blend it with the subjects or with the discipline. So for that, first, again, the upskilling of the teachers are required, and then the major thing is the planning. If your action plan is sound, if it is designed with all the nuances, if it is being taking care of all the learning outcomes, then certainly an effective annual plan or action plan, as we say, would going to deliver with its desired outcome and with its desired results. Okay, now if we talk about the visual art, or if we talk about performing art, or if we talk about culinary arts, we have to take care of the multiple intelligences as well. Okay, we have to understand that one size cannot fit for all. We have different individual learners with different needs. So how the teacher or the facilitator or the educator would going to cater that need, that also supposed to be taken care. So art is the best tool. Why? Because children learn to sing, they learn to dance, they learn to act, they imitate, they emulate, they love to do the role plays. This is the best method for children to learn. And even if you were going to see the draft of NCF 2022, the foundation stage, there also NCF is promoting the education through art. The best medium is through storytelling. Uh, Recently, I have just visited the state level conference in UP, wherein they were talking about the FLN, and in that they have actually executed Nipun Mela through the help of art. It was wonderful to see how the simplest concept of you can say number stories, addition, subtraction, or you can talk about the alphabets. It has all been demonstrated with the help of art, and children were glued to those activities. They were waiting for their turn to come, and they were learning and they were playing. So here one thing is very prominent to understand, that when you are using art integration, multiple intelligences is one of the broad focal area which you have to work. Prior to it, you have to identify the need of the learners, and accordingly you would going to take the art integration or the tools of art integration, and you will going to amalgamate it with your curriculum, and then the delivery part comes.
Absolutely. So, if I may put up, gone are the days when we had, similar answers in all the notebooks. So now it's like a child is going to express what he or she has learned in his own style, in whatever way he or she is, whichever, like you said, there is so much. There is drama, storytelling, painting, sculptures. Even these days we have, like, I remember my daughter was telling that, Mama, there is a movie making project in school on
Right.
Maharashtra. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. So what are you going to do? So then they come up with such wonderful ideas. They surprise you that even this was there. So, ma'am, in this method, how do you assess a child? Because everyone is going to present something different.
See, for the assessment part, if you're talking about the art integrated projects, which has been given as the home holiday assignments to the kids these days, you have to be very clear with the rubrics. Okay, now here you can go for the peer assessment, wherein the holiday homework can be exchanged and children are just discussing and just giving their reviews. Mind it is just a feedback. There is no scores involved here. Then the child himself or herself can assess these projects, because certainly the self assessment is the best assessment. Now, if you're going for certain kind of formative assessment based on that, that can also be planned. Before you are giving any kind of art integrated project to the children, you have to understand that rubrics should be told to these children prior. Why? Because the children should be knowing at what criteria they would going to be judged. If they are aware, they would going to frame their uh, you know their homework or their planning accordingly. And one more thing, assessment is just one of the factor. It should not be infused in a form of fear to these children, right? So again, the educator, the facilitator is expected to plan it, that if certain kind of homework has been given or certain kind of activity or assessment has been given, what all are the rubrics and how the child will be assessed. And prior, it should be told that in these parameters, this particular assignment would going to be judged, or rather would going to be evaluated if it has been a part of any kind of assessment, or if it has been given as the learning, if it has been given as the research, or as the development for the development of the child. Then fruitful discussion or the reflection would going to be the best method in the classroom. And certainly the child would going to be aware about the shortcomings, and the facilitator can add or rather can suggest certain changes if there are needed.
Perfect. So I think along with students, there has to be some guidance note for parents as well, because these are all the new things which are being added up now, like holiday homework. So more of children seek
Right.
parents' guidance,
Seema,
right?
I would like to highlight here that because NEP, NCF, and so many things are being introduced this year, though there has been a buzz from past couple of years, but now the application has started. Now parents are supposed to be taken into loop. How would you going to make the parent aware, and how would you going to make, how would you convince the parent that the child is required to browse or to the do the research. For example, a child has been asked to design a comic script on Mahabharata. Now if you see, our children are not that much well versed about these stories, so certainly certain kind of research would going to be required. And with the advent of these AI tools, though it is easy, but you have to make a wise choice here as well. Parents are to be aware, and for that certain programs from the management side should be arranged. For example, you can go for a parent pathshala, wherein once in a month you can call the parent to be to come for the interaction. Or maybe you can go for a buddy parent kind of projects, where the parents can talk to each other, and the children are just talking to each other parents and making them aware that what exactly is happening in the school. Then there are parents association also, wherein management with the consent of certainly with the authorities can make the parent aware. Certainly the separate section, separate sessions for the parent awareness can be there. So we cannot keep our parent unaware about these developments, because see, the learning of the parents was totally different. If you going to compare it, sometimes it's very difficult for us to make the parent convince that these are required for them of activity. You all are, they have been having very simple plan to pass to the kids. Every time you're doing activity, every time I see you with the gadgets, every time you are doing certain kind of research, or you are just browsing, when would you going to write, when would you going to read? Yes, the balance is required. If the parent would be aware about their call of an hour, I think that striking that balance will going to be easier for the educator. So the onus would not only going to be on parent, I mean on a teacher, but it would
Teachers.
certainly going to be on the parent as well, provided the parents should be made aware about these changes which are coming in our education system, and especially in the school domain.
Very true. Most of the chaos happen just because parents are not aware and communication is not clear. Because
Right.
what happens is the school will tell the children has been told everything, but many a times child doesn't convey in the similar manner as has been guided by the teacher. They mix a few things or they forget because there are so many instructions. So ma'am
Right.
rightly suggested some of the major things like parent pathshala, buddy parent. So all these things would be really helpful because parents are an integral stakeholders and they are the brand ambassador also for the schools. Because this is how the word of mouth spreads. That my
Yes,
schools
and
keeps us
and
aware.
educators and facilitators can be a little more smarter. Involve parents in those projects. Make them a important entity. Okay, revolve your projects, your assessments, wherein you are giving, certainly the subject based or the discipline base cannot be there. But when you're giving an research project, or when you're giving any investigatory project, when you are just giving any language project wherein the parent involvement can be there, make a parent a very unique and a rare entity in that, vital part in that. So the parent would also going to understand that it's not easy for a child to go for an investigative project of 20 mark or 30 mark in these 30 days. And that too not only for one subject. Our poor kids are working day and night for five major subjects, isn't it?
Right, right.
Right. So I think if we'll involve the parents, the understanding would going to be there, and they would also going to help the poor child, or rather would going to at least share that stress under which the child is, basically,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, because
So that could certainly
there is
going to work out.
our search engines are bombarded with information. It's very difficult for the child to understand which information should I go for, which is the right information I should pick. And learning that is also over the period. It is a gradual process wherein child understand, okay, this piece of information is useful and this is not. Everything put up on search engines is some kind of information is gathered together. It doesn't mean that everything is relevant. So this is also one of the tasks for the students, and there you rightly said that involve parents, and they would resolve this issue on their own. So Priya ma'am, it was wonderful understanding from you some of the wonderful techniques that you have also applied and seen the result yourself. And we learned the secrets behind creating a truly creative curriculum and involving everyone. And before we close this session today, let us have some fun facts questioned also. So we'll be beginning with a rapid fire round. Ma'am, we'll be asking you some personal questions as well. So you need to answer me in one word or one single sentence would do. So
Okay.
I'll be starting with my very first question. So
Sure.
that is like, what do you do in your recreational time? And I'm sure you are an art person, so something must be related to art. But let's understand from you.
I binge on Netflix, but then I work accordingly for my art integration projects.
All right. If not an educator, what you would have been?
I would have been a corporate person, somewhere working CSR section of any good corporate world.
All right. Are you a netizen?
Yes,
Yeah.
hardcore one.
All right. One thing which every parent should have in the house, pet or plant or something like that, which would help the child to understand the beauty of growth.
I would suggest that parent and child, they should sit and they should read newspaper every day.
All right. So reading together
Change
would
of
definitely.
information.
All right. A piece of advice for our upcoming educators.
Keep yourself upgrading, upskilling. Without that, we are just moving backward.
Your favorite author in a book.
My favorite author are many, but right now I'm reading the book by Rabindranath Tagore. So, Rabindranath Tagore.
All right. Coming up to the last question of the segment. Do you think assessing the children on the basis of written assessments would be valid going forward too?
Not fully, but partially, we really need to assess the children on the pen and paper test, because until you would not going to check their written assessment, you would not going to weigh their understanding and their learning. Yes, partially it is required.
All right, great. So this was Priya ma'am with us. So thank you so much, ma'am, for being here. And today we learned some of the very, very important facets of art integration. And I'm sure my readers and viewers have gained a lot today from you. So thank you so much for your time, and we are really, really grateful.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks a lot. Thank you.